Hello everyone, so in this video I wanted to talk about my favorite albums. Yeah, I know that music is kind of a personal thing, as in you might not understand where someone is coming from with their taste, but yeah, I am just sharing what I like. But yeah, these are pretty much what I consider nearly impeccable albums by great artists. And yeah, I'm a 90s baby. I'm not really too familiar with music prior to that, like 80s or 70s. So yeah, I won't be getting into much from that era. But yeah, I was born in the 90s. I experienced the tail end of it. My mom pretty much finished growing up in the 90s. So yeah, yeah, we do have some similar tastes. Our tastes kind of overlap in a way, but we do have our own interests and tastes as well. But yeah, most of the music is from the 90s and the 2000s. Yeah, my mom listened to a lot of music when I was a kid, so that kind of influenced me. So yeah, she was into like the 90s grunge rock. I remember a lot of Celine Dion, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, and Madonna, and yeah, some other things. Like I remember that Madonna Erotica album. I remember a lot of the Celine Dion albums. My mom also liked like Metallica and Alice in Chains and some hip hop and rap music. I remember some of that as well. So yeah, I do have a bit eclectic taste. But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead, get into these albums, discuss the albums and the artists, and there's no particular order. Okay, so first up I have Joanna Newsom. Joanna Newsom is one of my all-time favorite artists. I do like much of her albums. My favorite one by her is called Have One On Me. It is a triple album. This album has a lot of influence. Joanna's music in general draws from a lot of influence. There's folklore, blues. So yeah, Have One On Me is a beautiful album. It encapsulates ambience, certain aura that, I felt in my life. Joanna Newsom is also a harp player, so yeah, her musicality is brilliant. She plays the harp in all of her music, and then the lyrics are also very intriguing. So yeah, definitely one of my top favorite albums, Have One On Me by Joanna Newsom. Okay, so next up I have Ditto, album No Angel. So this album is such a mood. It makes me feel like I'm a single, independent lady living in the city on my own in a high-rise apartment, just chilling. All the songs on this album are no filler, no skips, very melodious, and yeah, Ditto's voice is superb. So yeah, definitely one of my favorite albums. Okay, so next I have Mariah Carey. So yeah, I definitely pretty much like all of her albums. When I was younger, I didn't really get some of her music as much, but yeah, now that I'm a little older, like closer to the age she was when she was writing these songs, I get it more, it makes more sense, and I definitely get where she's coming from with the songs and the album. So yeah, like I don't remember liking Emancipation or The Elusive Chateaus when I first heard them. I mean, they were good, but it wasn't entirely my taste. But yeah, now that I go back and listen to them, I can see where she was coming from, and yeah, I definitely think those are great albums. And then she had like the R&B albums as well. She had a couple of those. I do like R&B, but yeah, it can get a little stale to me, like a whole album. And yeah, so I definitely prefer like her albums that are influenced by like adult contemporary, you know, with a mix of different genres. Yeah, it was hard for me to pick, you know, what album I like best from her. I definitely loved her debut album. I liked Emotions, and you know, Butterfly had some great songs on it, like the title track and My All. And then I like Glitter as well. Apparently that got really bad reviews or something like that, but yeah, I definitely think it has a vibe to it. I didn't think it was all that bad, but yeah, my favorites are, some of my favorites are probably Charm Bracelet. I just love the adult contemporary sound. I think it had like a bit much guest appearances though. Yeah, like I can only handle like 2 or 3 guest appearance tops, because I may not like the person that they're bringing on the album. If I wanted to listen to them, I would just, you know, get their album. But yeah, I like Charm Bracelet, but yeah, a few songs in the beginning, it was just too much with the guest appearances. So, but yeah, I love that adult contemporary sound. And then I also really liked Emotions. So, yeah, I think Emotions was my favorite one. A lot of people really like Music Box and Daydream. Daydream, it was such an individual sound with each song, and it was just sugary R&B ballads. You know, it consisted of, there wasn't much of a flow to the songs in my opinion. But yeah, Always Be My Baby, Dream Lover are definitely 2 of my all-time favorite songs. But yeah, Music Box also, there's a lot of ballads. I think it needed a couple more up-tempos for it to flow better in my opinion. But yeah, definitely great albums. Yeah, I don't know why, you know, critics, they give her bad reviews when she does adult contemporary, and they give her good reviews when she does R&B. Her lyrics, you know, back in the day, she got a lot of flack for it, but I thought they were great. They were just simple and relatable. So yeah, I think my favorite album by her would be Emotions. This was the second album by Mariah Carey from 1991. The album flowed very well. But the songs also had a very distinct and individual sound. So yeah, I liked all the songs on that album. The vocals were great. Like I loved Emotions, you know, it captured the dance theme type of songs from the 90s. I love Can't Let Go, a great adult contemporary song. And then So Blessed in the Wind. Yeah, those were some of my top favorite songs from her. But yeah, Mariah Carey writes all of her music. She writes all of the lyrics and the melodies. She usually, you know, collaborates with the music and the production. But that makes her songs more heartfelt and emotional, in my opinion. And yeah, Mariah Carey definitely has a beautiful voice. She has the voice of an angel, in my opinion. It's very smooth and buttery. Yeah, my favorite voice of female music artist. Next up, I have Smashing Pumpkins, Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness from the mid-90s. So yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite albums. To me, this is like a strange time machine. When I listen to this, suddenly I'm transported to the 90s. You know how you can pretty much tell if music is from the 80s? That's how, like, the Smashing Pumpkins, this album is for me. I'm like, listen to it, I'm like, yeah, that's 90s music. But yeah, yeah, this is another album that takes feelings that I've had about life that, you know, I was never able to verbalize, and made it into music. And it kind of reminds me of being a teenager, young adult years, you know, hanging out, staying up late, and all sorts of things like that. So yeah, I first discovered this album when I was very young, and yeah, I've always liked it ever since. So yeah, I like the lead's Billy Corgan's voice, and yeah, the album, it's a double album, I believe, and yeah, it has a good mix of angsty and nostalgic songs. Next up, I have Coldplay, A Rush of Blood to the Head. I don't really like the title of that. That kind of makes me squeamish. But yeah, I do like the album. It has The Scientist on that album. That's one of my favorite songs. And yeah, I have a lot of favorite songs by, different types of artists, but album didn't make the list because, the whole album wasn't on point to me. So yeah, that's the thing with that. But yeah, I definitely liked this whole album. The songs are nice and relaxing and very reminiscent. So yeah, Coldplay is one of my favorite bands. I really liked their first 4 albums, and yeah, they're from the UK. So yeah, when I listen to their music, I kind of feel like I'm in London. So next up, I have Lana Del Rey, Ultraviolence. Yeah, I love all of Lana Del Rey's music. I love, all of her albums, but on her other albums, not all the songs are, on point, even though I love, I really love a lot of the songs off her other albums. But for me, Ultraviolence, all the songs were pretty good to me, so in my opinion. So yeah, Ultraviolence is my favorite album by Lana Del Rey. I do like the influence from like the 1960s, 1970s, and I like how Lana is always taking us either to New York or California, sometimes Florida. So yeah, I do like the individuality and the distinctiveness of the songs on Ultraviolence. So yeah, Lana Del Rey is one of the best singers and musicians in my opinion. Her voice is very glorious and angelic, probably second to me after Mariah Carey. And yeah, her music always slaps. She just recently came out with another album, and yeah, I enjoyed it. Okay, so next up I have Ophelia by Natalie Merchant. Natalie Merchant is one of my favorite artists, and yeah, this album, Ophelia, is near and dear to me. Yeah, it reminds me of like my childhood and growing up. So it kind of has that kind of nostalgia to me. But yeah, I do like all of the songs on this album. Definitely unique sound. Her voice is also unique and beautiful. So yeah, for sure, one of my favorite albums of all time. Okay, so next up I have Alicia Keys, As I Am. Yeah, Alicia Keys has a lot of great music, but yeah, this one is my favorite album by her. I like the New York vibe this album has. It's very snazzy and soulful. Alicia Keys tends to be very soulful, and I do like that style of music and her genre. Okay, so next up I have Vanessa Williams, The Sweetest Days. So yeah, I just remember listening to this album with my mom when I was a kid in the car. So yeah, it has a special place. But yeah, it's just a calm, relaxed album, very simple. Yeah, it just has those qualities. It's nice background noise, in my opinion. I think one of my favorite songs by Vanessa Williams is Save the Best for Last, but yeah, that's on a different album. But yeah, I did like, this whole album. I thought it flowed very nicely. Next up I have This Is Me Then by Jennifer Lopez. This is my favorite album by Jennifer Lopez. It kind of gives me like New York City vibe. Like I like when music can give me like the feeling of place or time. Yeah, I definitely get like New York, vibes in the city, things like that. But yeah, I liked all the songs on this album. I really liked Baby I Love You. And then, yeah, she did a collaboration with LL Cool J. I don't really like too much when artists do collaborations on their albums because sometimes I won't be partial to the person they're collaborating with, or I don't think they go together. But yeah, this one was good. Yeah, I really like the collaboration with LL Cool J on the song. I think it was, what was it called? Oh, All I Have. Yeah, that's what this song is called. But yeah, I did, you know, pretty much like all the songs on this album. I like the flow on the album. Kind of subdued and sensual. Alright, so next I have Baduizm by Erykah Badu from 1997. So yeah, I love how she channels her African American roots, and then we have the combination of hip hop, R&B, soul, and jazz. The result is magnificent. I think Erykah Badu is brilliant. I love her vocals. They're very soothing vocals, and the songs, each of the songs on there, I think they are just what music should sound like, basically. Next up, I have Fiona Apple, Tidal from 1996. So yeah, I love this album. This is like my favorite music. It's sulky, it's melancholy, the lyrics are mesmerizing. It gives jazz, it gives adult contemporary. Yeah, I discovered this album when I was a young girl, and I would listen to it when I was a teenager. Yeah, I would just imagine that I was an adult, and I was living on my own in an apartment in Manhattan. But yeah, I just think it's a great album. It's great background noise as well, just, you know, to have playing while you're doing things throughout your day. All the songs are great. Yeah, I don't know, I like Pale September, Never Is a Promise, Slow Like Honey. You know, they're all pretty great on there. I don't know which one is my favorite, because there's, you know, there's a lot of good ones on there. Yeah, the whole album just makes me think of relaxing things like a rainy day, or spending time at the beach or something like that. So yeah. Next I have Stone Temple Pilots, Purple. So yeah, one of my favorite bands. The lead singer's voice is a little bit scary, but you know, it's okay. I really like the music. Purple is my favorite album by them. I remember hearing the song Big Empty, an interstate love song, a lot when I was a kid. So yeah, it's very nostalgic, because yeah, my aunt used to live in Wisconsin, so yeah, we would go on road trips sometimes, a couple hours. So yeah, definitely makes me think of a road trip. It kind of makes me think of like the Southwest, the United States Southwest for some reason. But yeah, definitely one of my favorite alternative rock. I'm not sure if it's grunge. It's a little bit grungy, but I think it's alternative rock. Yeah, definitely one of my favorite alternative rock albums. And yeah, I really love Big Empty and Interstate Love Song. Those were, you know, the singles they had out for that album. Sometimes I don't like the single is not my favorite. It's like me more of an album number, like this Smashing Pumpkins, Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. I didn't really like Zero, or was the other one Rat in the Cage. Like those two were the like pretty much the least favorite of mine on the album. They're still okay, but yeah, the rest of the album was much better in my opinion. But yeah, with this album, Purple, yeah, I pretty much liked all of the songs on there pretty equally, you know. But yeah, Interstate Love Song, Big Empty sticks out a bit more to me. But I really like their music, but yeah, this for sure was my favorite album by the Stone Temple Pilots. Next up, I have Never Forever by Kate Bush from 1980. Yeah, this is the oldest album on my favorite albums that I have here, but it doesn't sound like it. The production is really good and everything. But yeah, I love the fairy tale theme of this album. It flows very well from start to finish, and Kate Bush's sweet and sugary vocals are just, you know, the icing on everything. So yeah, it just works great and perfectly. And that album cover is just amazing. It kind of reminds me of some movie. It was called Labyrinth or something like that. Kind of reminds me of that movie I saw as a kid. Yeah, I watched it a few years ago. I'm not sure why I liked it, but yeah, very whimsical theme. Next up, I have Foo Fighters, One by One. Yeah, so Foo Fighters is definitely one of my favorite bands. I like their first 5 albums. I really like their first 5 albums. They're still making music. The music thereafter was great as well. But yeah, I really like their first 5 albums. I would say One by One is my favorite. So yeah, all the songs are really meaningful to me. They're really catchy. I think it's like alternative rock, pretty much. Yeah, I would say. But yeah, gorgeous, gorgeous rock music from a great band. So next I have Vanessa Carlton. So yeah, it was a hard choice for me between her first and second album, Be Not Nobody or Harmonium. But yeah, I landed on Harmonium. The album just flows a little better in my opinion. Be Not Nobody, it had, some of the songs kind of felt out of place, I guess. Like it didn't flow as well as Harmonium. But yeah, Vanessa Carlton is one of my favorite artists. I really love, her songs. They give me a feel of being in another time or place, and yeah, I love that about music, or I love where, I can get where the influence is coming from. Yeah, I gotta say on the album Harmonium, I think that San Francisco or Annie is my favorite song on the album. But yeah, it's a really great album. I do like all the songs on there. I really like Vanessa's voice. I think she's a great artist. I've been a fan for a very long time. Okay, and then next I have Frank Sinatra. So yeah, I love Frank Sinatra. I love the era that he hails from. I think my favorite album by him was Swingin' Affair. I also really liked September of My Year and Where Are You? But yeah, I really liked Swingin' Affair. Really gives me the New York swag, like out in the city and everything, in a nice garden in New York City or something like that. But yeah, I think he really captures that essence. But yeah, really great music. I really enjoy the album, listening to it a lot. So yeah. Okay, so lastly I have Myra Lee by Cat Power. I really like Cat Power. This is my favorite album by her. I really like her voice. So yeah, the album is a little bit angsty, it's a little bit edgy. There's a sadness to it. But yeah, for me it's I would say it's nostalgic and reminiscent. It's, pretty simple album. It's got an alternative rock vibe, a little bit grungy, I would say. But yeah, I do really like the vibe of the album. It's really simple. It's nostalgic to me. It's reminiscent. Yeah, it makes me think and remember back on things. So yeah, I discovered Cat Power a long time ago. I was a kid, and yeah, I've always liked this album. I never grew out of it or anything like that. So yeah, included on my top favorite albums. Alright, so yeah, that was everything. That was my top favorite albums. That was 17 albums. So yeah, that was it for that, and thanks for watching. Bye!